Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello everyone, welcome back to Nukeshot Media. And the audio check seems to have gone well. Fantastic. I'll turn that down. So yes, welcome everyone to round 1 of the NES Gr.3 Intercontinental Tour. We are here live at Bathurst Mount Panorama. Some names that you may recognize, of course, from the normal Nukeshot Endurance series. We have Gr.3 here today, we have Joe, we have Houdini, we have James, and we have GTO. And I believe qualifying is scheduled to be getting started very shortly. Oh, fantastic stuff. Just going through Discord. Here is our qualifying session then to set the grid order. Oh, for whatever reason, it's being daft. There we go, so it's going to be Joe the Fire first out of the pits. Followed by the rest of the pack. They'll be looking to get a little bit more spread out, as even though the slipstream is quite effective on parts of the circuit, the mountain section you really don't want to be held up in. So they'll be mainly focusing on warming their tyres for this outlet. going to be 5 minutes plus overtime. Let's see what they can do today. This particular event brought to you by the Endurance Racing Federation and Baltic Sea Competition. Be sure to check out the link in the description for the ERF Discord. They are hosting plenty of events over there. Joe making his way down the descent. A fantastic course is Mount Panorama. Truly one of a kind. Making his way past the penalty serving point. Very easy to lose a lot of time there on the Conrad Straight. Two cars getting a little bit closer together is GTO and Rotary. It's Rotary doing a little bit of weaving. That's quite close range. Got to be staying safe. Gonna go on board, I think, here with Joe of the Fire of Team Simpact Racing, making his way through the final corner and starting our first flying lap. We're looking to start braking somewhere in the middle between the 100 and the 50 marker. Use that nice little bit of extra tarmac runoff on exit of turn 1. All these users will be most likely using racing softs to start off, but we could see a variety of strategy calls. Braking just before the 50 marker, going into Griffin's Bend. Now the uphill start of the mountain section. Through the cutting. And a very tricky corner to put the power down on. And with the way that the fuel load works, you're able to carry a lot more speed than you would normally in the race. So nearly flat through this section. And now plunging down the S's. Very easy to get the car crossed up. Very nicely held there by Joe of the Fire. We know he's a very, very competent driver, so no issues there for him. And nice again on the exit of Forest Elbow. Down the Conrad Straight. This is where his Subaru might not have the legs compared to some of the others. It's typically more of a handling-based car. Hello to Mika in the chat. Nice having you tuned in. It's a moderator. Very nice. Through the chase they go, under the Armorel Bridge, and coming to the final corner. They'll have at least one more attempt at it. I believe it is going to be just one more. So 2 laps. What's it going to be for the Joe 2 guy? Joe of the Fire, it is a 201.3. Rotary will be the next across the line. Looks like it's going to be a little bit off that. So 203.9 for Rotary. GTO, 0.2 off Rotary, 204.1. Houdini looks to be just that little bit behind those two as well. 205.2. And ART James making his way round the last corner. Getting that Ford GT stopped very nicely. And I don't think that's a representative time, it's a 213.6 for James. As the time has indeed elapsed, so everyone's just going to be finishing this lap that they're on, and then that will be the grid. And yes, there is another Subaru in the game. It's the GT300 BRZ from 2021, I want to say. Very nice car, but again, perhaps not the best suited for this circuit, given the amount of straights. Definitely more of a handling-based car. At least historically it has been. Joe just about purple through that sector. Ooh, very much on the limit through the chase. It's going to be close, as someone has span at the top of the S's. I think that's James. So unfortunately that's going to be his qualifying done. We'll have to see what he can do from 5th place. As Joe does improve their time, it's a 2:01.325. Are any of these other guys going to get close? I don't think so. I think Joe is doing a really good job with that lap. An improvement for Rotary, 2:02.447. What can GTO do? It seems they may have had an issue on this particular lap, so no improvement there. Can Houdini improve up to 3rd? No, he can't. Just about off their previous lap. And James, who did have that incident at the top of the S's, is now making their way towards the final corner. Even if it is an improvement, they will be starting in 5th. As we go into the break period, so there is our grid. It's a 2:01.265 from Joe of the Fire. That takes the first pole position of the season. Congratulations to him. And indeed, the break period has begun. So this is another opportunity for me to mention our sponsors. Baltic Sea Competition, a name, again, historic for the Nookshot Endurance Series. Unfortunately, Felix was unable to attend today, but we'll be hoping to see him for the rest of the season. He wanted to sponsor this event in his absence. And, of course, the Endurance Racing Federation, set up by a good friend, Mr. T17. There is a link in the description to that Discord server. Definitely check it out. They focus on endurance events, funnily enough, with a name like Endurance Racing Federation. You may also see me commentating over there on the odd occasion for certain stints, along with a fantastic cast of characters. So yeah, definitely check that link out in the description. Thanks to both the Endurance Racing Federation and Baltic Sea Competition for sponsoring the event. Always nice to do our bit for the sim racing community. The break period is scheduled to end at 10 past, so we've got 11 minutes yet. Indeed, thanks Joe for notifying all the competitors. Let's hope that no the music's going to get us copyright struck. There was something that I forgot to check. Oh no. I should have it set up to have this kind of thing off. Menu music off. Let's hope it's fine. There was race music as well, wasn't there? Although I think there's a streamer mode that I have it set for that sort of stuff. Yeah, broadcast mode, that's on. So hopefully it should be all fine, but then again, Lenny Ibizari is known for having their tracks copyrighted. Hello to apologies in advance for this mispronunciation. Gualta Lopez. Nice having you around. Now, if names serve me correctly, that might be Houdini. Yep, it is Houdini. Thanks again for tuning in. So, while we're here, an overview of the calendar. We're going to be doing 5 races in this mini-series featuring Group 3 cars. The first tour that we're on, out of the 4 that was scheduled, is the Intercontinental Tour that won the vote. So we're going to be going all across the globe for this one. starting here in Australia at the Mount Panorama Motor Circuit. We then moved to Suzuka, so not too far of a flight over for that race in Japan, followed by a trip back to Europe at the Autodrome Lago Maggiore. That's going to be on the 28th of May. Then round 4, heading to the United States and the Daytona International Speedway Road Course. That's going to be an interesting one. Features 30 times time of day, so or rather 30 times the time acceleration. So expect some night racing there. And the final round is going to be at Interlagos in Brazil. That is going to be early dawn with 6 times time acceleration. So the track's going to be quite cold and then start warming up towards the end. I should also mention that round 2 for that Suzuka race is scheduled for rain. We have weather reports that are like weeks in advance here. That's the kind of technology we have. Taylor in chat, that's Rotary. He doesn't have mediums. Oh dear. Well, thankfully the race shop is there in the lobby, so he can do that. Yeah, let's ask everyone if they're ready. If anyone else who happens to be watching the stream wants to join in for future events, be sure to click the link in the description. I think it's the top link. Yes, to the Nukeshot Discord server. That's where you can sign up, find all the series details and such. If you're enjoying the stream so far, be sure to leave a like. All helps out. Don't tempt me, I might do it, says Mika in the chat. Also says it's Straya, not Australia, that we're in today. Again, weather is looking to be quite dry, a little bit humid, but dry. Illegal fuel sample we're hearing from our technical inspector Joe. So Houdini might be... I see what's going on. Oh dear. So yeah, Houdini might have to have a post-race penalty on that one. I'm joking, of course. How's the job hunt going? Yes, I'm still unemployed, and I'm not looking for jobs anymore. Thankfully, all that stress is dealt with. So yeah, I'm now free to do as I like, somewhat. I'm now officially recognised as disabled again, so shout out to the government for that one. Our third sponsor, the UK government, literally sponsoring us with money. Nah. Okay, Houdini's ready now. The SRF wants to know your location. This is going to be great, banter. We're also hoping to have some post-race interviews after this. Here we go then. 19 laps of Mount Panorama. It will be a grid start, no formation lap or any of that. So as soon as we get racing, we are going to get racing. 5 red lights. And it's green, and the cars are off. It looks like Rotary had a little bit of a better start compared to Joe off the reaction. Joe will have the inside line though, and Rotary has to slot back in that Honda NSX. A little bit slidey from Houdini in the back. So GTO looking to draw alongside. Rotary will have the slipstream going into Griffin's Bend. Will it be enough to line up an overtake? Joe's going defensive already. So interesting stuff by them. They go back to the racing line. Joe manages to hold on for that particular section. As the battle for third is still heating up, James perhaps looking to capitalise on this as well. Houdini in third, GTO fourth. Making the way through the mountain section again, a little bit slidey. Slide McGee making an appearance once again on the channel. The race timer is approximately 40 minutes, is how long it's going to last. Oh, look how close they're getting to the walls already. A bit early for that, lads. Interesting, we've got mediums for Houdini. This is what I'm talking about with the split strategies. Racing softs for Joe. Hards for Rotary. Oh, and he's in the wall! Rotary's in the wall! He's sliding about like a fish out of water, and that's allowing Houdini to catch up massively. Going for hards, that's a very bold strategy. Maybe he's trying to only do a pit stop on fuel and then double stint the tyres. Because hards are... well, it's an interesting one. We'll see how that works out for him. Houdini on the mediums. And we have a slipstream chain. As Joe has pretty much checked out at the front of the field. To the inside goes Houdini. Up into second. Can Rotary outbrake them going into the chase? I don't think so. I'll just have to put the pressure on Houdini still as they clip the grass. Might not see much of Joe this race if he's going to clear off as he has done, but he is on the softs. In a test race preview event that we did last week, actually, he was very good at making the tyres last across a stint. But I can't remember if that was in the same car or not. It might have been. But the battle for second, third, fourth and fifth is still very close. First place, 6.9 seconds ahead. But with the 6 times tyre wear multiplied that we have in this series, we'll be chewing through those softs like chewing gum. You can already see some of the red markings on the mediums on the graphic. Bit slidey there from Rotary. Oh! More sideways action from the Honda. Again, really bold choice going with the hards. Mediums for GTO. Oh, just running a little bit wide. Had to get off the throttle, and I believe that's allowing James to catch up just that little bit extra. Rotary trying to do their best to stay within the slipstream range. It isn't 7/10 of a second anymore, it's a little bit more dynamic than that. So approximately 1 second. So he's well within slipstream range here. Also there's a bit of a crosswind on the main straights. 2.4 meters a second. Eastbound. Rotary indeed getting a very nice slipstream, although not as much of an overlapping speed as I perhaps would have expected. So perhaps the Volkswagen Beetle is a very strong car for straight line speed. Mika in chat asking for 20% ballast for Joe. We don't actually have a success ballast system for this, it's sort of a more semi-casual affair. These guys are definitely putting on a show already for us though. Sort of equal spacing between second, third, fourth and fifth. AC James making a return for the Arrows Racing team. Fantastic seeing him back. Joe continuing to increase the gap, but the tyres are definitely wearing out. Only on lap 3. Now the softs, if you're going to keep them in decent condition, would normally be a 2-stop. However, Joe perhaps looking to extend it so he's only doing 1 stop. At least that's going off the preview event from last week. Down through the S as they go once more. Fantastic camera work by Jack Wilkinson, as always. And if anything, it seems that Rotary is closing up a bit on Houdini, so Houdini feeling the pressure and can't seem to shake Rotary off, which is very interesting. The mediums are still in decent condition at this point. Going to go rear wing cam on Houdini's car. Okay, the Honda is closing in a bit on the straights and that slipstream, but not by much. You also see the Porsche of GTO lurking in the background, and there's contact! Contact at the last corner. Looks like everyone's okay. Damage is off, so there will be no mechanical damage. That may have just been a little bit of netcode as well. Difficult to tell. A bit shaky over that first corner exit. And if anything, it's looking like GTO is closer to Rotary than Rotary is to Houdini at this point. Going to be some close quarter battling, making their way through Griffin's Bend once again. Shout out to all our track marshals as well while we're at it. Couldn't go racing without them, both in reality and in the virtual world. As Rotary has spun! Rotary spins out! And James has to narrowly avoid him. On the uphill section, yellow flags out in that sector. Let's see if we can catch what happened here. Do we have an external camera? There we go. Yep, just oversteer, trying to put the power down. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the hard tyres just lacking grip on the uphill section. Rotary's got some work to do to catch back up. "21 seconds to the good now." Is Joe of the fire? Well, there's a fuel warning. That's odd. Oh, that might be because it's like 10 laps and then it counts as a 0 at the end, or some peasantry like that. He is fine on fuel, so there's a sensor issue, let's call it that, on that Subaru. Don't know if the team will repair that or not at their pit stop. Houdini looking to defend against GTO. GTO all over the back of the Volkswagen. Volkswagen versus Porsche. One of them slightly more aerodynamic. Just a smidge. Although the Beetle does have an extra gear. I believe it's 7 gears in that Volkswagen. So a little bit better acceleration in that sense. Having closer ratios. Both of them are going to be on the mediums, of course. And actually, you can see GTO is taking care of his tyres a decent bit better than Houdini. Houdini's front right in particular seems to be wearing away quite rapidly. And I'm just thinking, with the kind of gap that Joe has, he might play it conservative and do a 2-stop. If he's got the pace for it, which he definitely seems like he has at this point. Houdini just about managing to get GTO on the uphill mountain section. Now through the S's, where it's all about confidence. Spatial awareness too. Houdini trying to bring it away from the outside wall there on exit. And there you can see the slipstream is having an effect for GTO, even though he's quite a way back. That Volkswagen punching quite a sizable hole in the air. Oh, and another fuel sensor issue. This time for GTO's car. and Houdini. So we're having sensor issues across the board. James with one as well, as is the case with Rotary, who's 6.7 behind James, looking to close in. I was regretting going with the pods now, but again, all easier to say with hindsight. And it seems that on the straights, the Porsche seems to have a bit of an advantage here compared to the Volkswagen Beetle. And it can't quite find a way past. And this will be really bugging GTO. But again, just trying to keep the pressure on. Oh! Thought about it going into the cutting. Not quite. And again, that Volkswagen managing to get away on the mountain. Both of these have managed to gap James at this stage. Oh! Oh, Houdini's ran wide, and... Ooh. That was very tense stuff at the summit. Now making their way on the downhill. We'll see if we can get a replay of that shortly. Here we are then, on board with GTO's car. This was lap 6. That's a different graphic at the bottom. There you see Houdini going off, a little bit sideways. GTO just had to think about taking avoiding action there, as Houdini tried to regain control of their car. Now, towards the end of the Conrad straight, going into the chase. Getting very close, and the Porsche seemingly having a lot better stability. I think it's the short wheelbase of the Volkswagen that's hurting it on some of these sections, which is of course it's a good thing to have through the twisty bits, but perhaps less so when you're just trying to put the power down. To the outside goes GTO, looking to get a little bit of a faster exit, square off the corner, street racing style. This could be a decent opportunity for him. He's going to have to be brave and tough it on the outside if he is going to make it stick, and indeed not quite. Switches back to the inside. Houdini didn't get the best of exit through there, and GTO does go through before the cutting. Fantastic move. As Houdini is sliding about all over the place now. See if we can get a replay of the overtake. Oh, unfortunately we just missed it. But well done to GTO for getting past, although he's gone off! He's gone off! Very easy to do that section. Oh dear, and he's back to third after that. Let's see what happened here. So again, don't necessarily think it was the wind speed or anything that caught him out on this occasion. It's just carrying a bit too much speed on exit. I think you have to lift a bit as you crest the hill on that corner. And you've picked up a 0.5 second penalty. I think that would have been through the S's. So he's lost touch with Houdini. And here comes James. James has done really well saving his front tyres. He's of course on a wheel. I'm not sure if it's the first time, but it is a new wheel for James. So he's been doing well on the fronts, less so on the rear tyres. Because he wasn't at the preview event, so he doesn't have the luxury of knowing approximately how strategy is going to play out. Whereas GTO was there. Rotary still 6 seconds back. Oh, he's running a little bit wide in turn 1. Again, easily done. Let's check in on our race leader, Joe. There you see the tyres completely shot on the front right. but he's probably looking to stay out there. Because completely shot softs are still somewhat manageable, apparently. I know it sounds crazy, but that's a thing, at least on this circuit. It's quite sketchy if you lose the rear tyres, but fronts, I suppose it's not quite as bad. Just got to watch into braking zones, like upcoming here into the chase. And again, the fuel warning light. That seems to come up whenever they get near the pits. That glitch. He does indeed stay out, so he's looking to make it about halfway on the softs. Houdini now in second, and with a bit of a gap over GTO, trying to regain composure. Cars will be lighter after their pit stops, of course, because relative fuel will be less to get to the end. We're coming up to around where the pit window will be for one-stoppers, and it seems that everyone is going to do a one-stop. Once again, thanks to our event sponsors today, Baltic Sea Competition. Hope to see you and Felix back for the next round in a week's time. And of course the Endurance Racing Federation, be sure to check out the link to their series in the description. .3 seconds the gap between GTO and Houdini. James, I'm still amazed, has that much front tyres left. Gr.3 has less front tyres than James, and yet he's on the hards. That is incredible stuff. But again, just the rears that are becoming an issue, and that kind of balance can get very sketchy when you get to a section like here, the downhill S's. He's going to have to take it very carefully, firmly grasp it, as Patrick Starr once said, and he has spun! James has span around in the S's. I somewhat thought that would happen. Joe has made it into the pits. There you see the... is blue the new colour for TSR? Perhaps? Might just be the base of the race suit. Oh no, he's in the Mario race suit today. At least the helmet. A little bit of fuel, new softs, and he's on his way out. It'll take him a little bit of time to get the tyres warmed up again, but all looking fine as into the pits goes Houdini, and he's overshot it! He's overshot the pit entry! And that's allowed GTO to overtake him going into the pits. Houdini losing a lot of time into the pits they are now. Oh, that's a massive mistake there. As GTO and the Nuke Shot crew making their way to the pits. There we go. Nice work, lads. Still not paying any of you. But well done. You see the Martini and Rossi team. Nice work by them, getting out of the pits. James making their stop. And they're choosing to go for hards, so they are looking to have more stable grip. We're just past the halfway point, so there'll be a little bit less distance for him to cover than on that lap where he made the mistake. Nevertheless, and as the sun is setting here in Australia at the Mount Panorama circuit. The headlights have started to come on for these race cars. Won't get to full darkness by the end of this, but the track temperature should come down a little bit. Air density will go up, might affect the turbocharged cars in a net positive way, and I believe the only non-turbo car is GTO in that Porsche. As someone had a penalty. Houdini has a penalty. That will probably be corner cutting in the S's. That's my guess. And he's 11 seconds back from GTO after that costly mistake on pit entry. So everyone has made their pit stop by this point. Actually, no. Gr.3 hasn't. Gr.3 is actually maybe saving a bit of fuel as well, because they've got a decent amount of fuel left. They're probably going for a no stop here, although very risky given the condition of that right rear. I highly doubt that's going to last until the end, and with the NSX being a bit slippery anyway, is that the right call? Well, it's got him short-term track position over the rest of his group. Fantastic fan attendance here as well at the Mount Panorama circuit. Do love their motorsport here in Australia. Thanks again everyone for the support. If you are enjoying the live stream as well, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing to get notified for the rest of the season. Now the gap to monitor is probably going to be between Gr.3 and GTO. That is, if Gr.3 does indeed decide to stay out to the end. Once the tyre gets fully worn, it can't wear any worse. And I believe that was the same kind of logic that was going with Joe of the Fire in the lead, who was on soft numerical. Oh, and indeed a spin for Gr.3. It's not paid off, he gets it spun back round again, and here comes GTO! GTO goes past for second place! Oh, that is a costly mistake for Gr.3. And the issue is, he's got another lap to do before he can even attempt going into the pits again. I think at this point, you kind of just have to commit to staying out, don't you? Because you're going to get last place most likely if you do pit, unless you whack on the softs for the final 5 or 6 laps. See if you can hunt down James. It's going to be really tricky for him, especially as the track temperature comes down. Look at this, sliding all over the place in that Honda. I can tell you that's not just the net code. Clipping the grass as well. Bit of debris on circuit there for the following cars. So GTO is looking quite set for second place. I say that now, something could go drastically wrong. Hopefully no curse of the commentator. Oh, again, difficult to put the power down, and Houdini is closing. It's a difficult call. I think you're probably better off. it's a really difficult call. We'll have to see what Rotary thinks. Of course, he's got to make that call while driving. So even more difficult. I think it's getting to a point where it is just probably safer to make a pit stop. Yeah. Into the pits he goes. Does he get it stopped? Yep. Doesn't run wide. I think he is going to fit the softs. There's another Nuke Shot pit crew for the Paradox Sim Sport team. Houdini goes past into third place. And where's James? There's James. It could be quite close between Rotary and James. Rotary might actually get out ahead of him. Indeed. There he is on pit exit. He is on softs. So at the very least, Rotary is salvaged fourth for now. James is on the hards. So going to have a very difficult time extracting pace from the car. It was really in a compromised situation given the tyre wear that he was suffering on the mediums. He was running a bit of traction control to perhaps help with the tyre wear. Joe, on to lap 14 of 19. That was a new fastest lap of this race, a 2:01.528. It's looking like there's a little bit of cloud cover in places. Still no threat of rain, according to our radars, also because there isn't a rain setting on this circuit, but shush. Marbles building up as well throughout this. There's quite some, saw some chunky marbles there on the exit of Griffin's Bend, turn 2. Wonder if it's still going to be called Griffin's Bend now that Holden have gone defunct. Probably. They may have already renamed it or something, I don't know. Personal best lap there from GTO. It's 2:04.618 for that minty fresh Nuke Shot machine. I have to say, I'm surprised how nicely the mint works with the standard Nuke Shot green. Houdini 12 seconds back, 15 ahead of Rotary. Everyone's pretty much spaced out at this stage. Wind speed's going down as well. It's changing direction a little bit, but it's not really been a factor. Haven't really had to adjust their braking markers or anywhere like we would have saw in the Endurance Racing Federation race. We saw wind speeds 4 meters a second and higher in that one. Twilight definitely setting in here at the Mount Panorama Motor Circuit. There you see one of our many Jack Wilkinsons, our cameraman. Rotary seemingly a lot happier now he's on the softs. And the gap between him and Houdini does seem to be coming down. He's 1.2 seconds green, so that's a personal best. Nicely done. Seems to be getting a bit darker than I thought it would, actually. A bit early for that. Maybe it's the extra bits of cloud cover in places. You see some stars appearing now in the Australian sky. And in the background, I think that was James, yet with the yellow headlights. Nice touch. Flash of the lights there. Don't know if he necessarily is watching the stream or not. It was a personal best for him last time around, a 2:07.519. And even though he is in last place, that is still fifth. And 5th is a very decent chunk of points to be carrying into this season. 5th is 15 points. It is 30 points for a race win, so effectively half a race win worth of points for James today, if he stays where he is. Speaking of race leaders, here is Joe. I believe the only car to get into the 201s. He's nearly got a minute over the whole field. Indeed, he does so as he comes across the line. And again, this has been one of those old school Joe of the Fire performances, a driving clinic by the witty professor, to give him one of his many nicknames. I think the tyres are actually still quite cold, according to the graphic. So, keeping the tyres hot and in operating temperature seemingly a bit of an issue for quite a few of these cars. The gap seems to have stabilised between Houdini and Rotary at 13 seconds. Rotary on the fresher tyres and on softs. They're of course about the same on fuel. James on the hards, of course. 13 seconds back from Rotary. Not a bad effort by any means. Now, I'm just thinking, maybe for the fun of it, Joe might go into the pits again and go low fuel, brand new softs. Just to see what I can do. Of course it is night now, so the pace will have perhaps decreased a bit from a driver confidence level. The track itself might be a little bit faster. With, of course, the colder air as well, making it denser, therefore all cars get a little bit extra downforce. Of course, that car, the Subaru BRZ GT300, has a side exit exhaust just in front of the, I think it's the left side door. Oh, there you see the flames being spat out thanks to the anti-lag on that. Crowd favourite. Once again, if you are enjoying the stream, be sure to leave a like on it. Consider subscribing for the rest of the season. Thanks again to our sponsors, Baltic Seed Competition, long-time Nukeshot Endurance Series team. Hope to see you back for the next round. And, of course, the Endurance Racing Federation, host of Gran Turismo 7 endurance events. Be sure to check out the link in the description to their Discord server. And of course, if you're interested in wanting to sign up for future events of the Nukeshot Endurance Series, there is a link to that Discord as well in the description. 9.8 seconds, the gap between GTO and Houdini. That is the closest gap on circuit. Just going to quickly examine the last lap times. So 205.6 for Rotary that time around, 206.9 for Houdini, but the lap before they set a personal best at 204.9. So they randomly lost 2 seconds of pace. Whether that was just a mistake or just driving a bit more conservatively, difficult to tell. Really is a lot darker than I would have imagined, based on the preview race. Oh, look at the sky, that is fantastic stuff, even with the bits of light pollution around the circuit as Houdini clips the grass once more. Manages to keep it together though. And that's what's important here. Consistency. Well, that was that was a dodgy moment, but he kept it going. That's going to give Rotary a little bit extra confidence. I think those mediums on Houdini's car are starting to get past their best. But Rotary has picked up a 0.5 second penalty. As, a little bit of a sideways moment for James. You're not escaping my scrutiny this time, I'm afraid. He may have just been fine. Yeah, perfectly fine. That was just the mini-map playing tricks on me, so well done, James. Cameras. And he's actually on track for another personal best lap. Or was he ran just a little bit wide? No, that was again the netcode tricking me. Joe is about to come on to the final lap of this race. Again, flames continuing to spit from that exhaust as he lets off the throttle. GTO sort of midway through the mountain section as a comparison, 1 minute 13 behind Joe. That's the kind of dominant performance that we're seeing today. Houdini has lost a bit more time to Rotary. I think Rotary is gaining. Houdini is perhaps feeling the pressure a little bit. 7 seconds and continuing to go down. Rotary softs are still in very decent condition. He's done a decent job saving them for this particular section of the race. 6 seconds. You know what? It's going to be really close between these. Rotary is going to have to hope for a little bit more of a mistake from Houdini, I think, but with the tyres in that condition, it's entirely possible. I think James is just about going to hold on from being lapped, so everyone is going to finish on the lead lap, which is great to see. Again, credit to James. New wheel, still learning it, and I believe a relatively new car to James as well, if I'm not mistaken. The Ford GT. .5 seconds the gap between third and fourth. That final step on the podium. Second place looks relatively secure. Oh, actually does it. Because GTO's looking a bit dodgy with that fuel warning light. And he might actually end up running out of fuel somewhere down Conrod Straight. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Joe of the Fire, a fantastic drive. Brake discs glowing red. And it is victory for Joe of the Fire for round 1 of the NES Group 3 Intercontinental Tour here at Mount Panorama. Congratulations to them. Now, the question remains, does GTO have enough fuel to get to the end? Everyone should be okay in terms of the race finish time. It might be a bit close with James, but we'll have to see. Oh, a bit of a clip of the wall there. GTO is definitely the worst on fuel of all these cars. He's got 12 seconds in hand. He can afford to go mix 6 if he needs to on the fuel map. Oh, it's going to be close. Does he realise? He must realise. He must be playing this extremely close. He might run out as he crosses the line. He's managed to survive the Conrod Straight. Oh, the flames out the exhaust of the Porsche as well. That's going to be burning up a lot of fuel. And indeed, he's out of fuel. He coasts towards the line, and I think he has indeed managed to make it. Very well timed there by GTO. Third place on his return to racing, Houdini Myers. Congratulations to them. They take the final step on the podium. Rotary, bit of a different strategy. Was closing in 4.7 seconds in the end to Houdini. Couldn't quite get it done. They had a couple extra laps than maybe, but not quite today. James, unfortunately the timer has ran out. We probably need to make that a little bit longer. But there's your race winner, Super Mario. TSR Joe 2 Guy, otherwise known as Joe of the Fire. Congratulations to him. We'll have some post-race interviews set up shortly. Here we are once again. The best lap of the race, a 2:01.528, and there you kind of see the pace difference between a lot of these. Fantastic display. And a very interesting strategy call. They see the third, fourth, and fifth. I mean, rather second, third, and fourth very close in a relative sense. We'll be going to post-race interviews shortly. I'm going to just set up the party chat. Okay, it's options, and then it's mute all.
Yeah, what? Yeah, what voodoo magic did you?
Hello, everyone.
You see, dead right side tyres are only slower by about 3 seconds. No.
Hello.
Here we are in the driver debrief room at the end of the race.
We all just huddled around the corner. We don't need this massive room.
Everyone, again, remember you are live on Nookshot Media. Watch your language and such.
Oh, for beep's sake.
Hello, Mum.
Oh, very well, babe.
We're going to start with Joe, I think, our race winner. Joe...
Hi.
Joe, this is like an old-school Joe performance I said on stream. A very dominant display by you today.
It helps when the more dominant people aren't here, but yes.
It helps when the rest of the grid is us.
I know.
You guys were in the AM class, to be fair, in NES. If I remember right.
I think everyone
Yeah.
here besides you was, yes. Again, just going back to the preview race where you actually got to test the soft to soft one-stop strategy for the first time. Was there any difference really between then and now in terms of how you managed to manage the tyres? Because of course you was against Philo for that preview
Well, it was.
race.
I suppose it was easier because I was following someone for the entire first stint of the race, but other than that, probably the same.
Right, well, again, congratulations. That is a full 30 points going your way, plus
That is some
the
points.
pole position and fastest lap, so that's 33.
All the threes. Oh wait, that's Verstappen's number. We better move on.
Okay, moving on then to, is GTL here?
No, he's just
No, he's gone.
Ah,
he was
okay.
never in the car. He was
No worries. Well, again, in his absence, congratulations to GTO on a fantastic second place result. Third place was Houdini Myers. Congratulations there. You was having a decent battle actually there with both GTO and Rotary quite early on in the start. What was your thoughts on that?
Just hanging on, like trying to do my race. I did not have the pace at all. I just got lucky with some work with GTO, and then I think I got second if it was not for that incident on the lane entry.
Yeah, you'll be glad to know that we did capture that on replay.
Oh dear.
I know.
Instant replay.
Unfortunate stuff, but again, very easily done. And perhaps if you were at the preview event, you would have had a little bit more experience with that pit entry, because it is a very tricky one, isn't it?
Actually, like this only two laps of practice, so yeah. Overall, I think first place, not bad.
Yeah, again, podium result. Fantastic result for you there. Moving on to Rotary. Fourth place, a bit of a different strategy. You were starting on the hards there, and it seemed that the lack of grip really led to the spin on the uphill. What were your thoughts on taking that unique strategy?
Well, I wanted to start on mediums, but I didn't have them bought for the car, and I only realised after qualifying where you can't buy. It turns out you can't buy tyres after qualifying. So
Some kind of parc fermé.
yeah, it wasn't by choice. I don't think it really mattered because I wasn't slow enough or quick enough to do anything different. So
Yeah, well, nevertheless, it was interesting to see you go for the soft towards the end. You were catching Houdini. I believe it was like around 4 point something seconds in the end. Do you think if there was like a lap or two more that you would have been able to get him? If fuel wasn't a factor, of course.
oh, the tyres were dead at the end of stint 2, so nah.
Alright, fair enough. Thanks again, and congratulations on your fourth place. Who's that clapping?
Who do you think? Yeah.
Oh, okay. James, is James here still?
Yeah.
James, fifth place in the end.
He's so happy to be here.
He's loving life.
I'm so enthusiastic.
Oh dear! But again,
You didn't get lapped.
you mentioned it was a new wheel for you, and I think a relatively new car and such.
Yeah.
You know, you had a lot of different challenges and stuff, but you were not last for a while.
Yeah.
So, what was your
did-
thoughts on this race as like an experience with the wheel for the first time? How have you found it?
Well, I was happy when I got fourth and staying fourth until I had a bit of a moment, shall we say. And then it was just a case of just try not to crash and get that by Joe.
Yeah, well,
He
again,
succeeded.
and,
Yeah, which I managed to not get that.
By a lap, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was just mentioning it was unfortunate that we didn't have like an extra 10 or 20 seconds on the post-race timer because we would have seen you cross the line. But,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
it was
I
just
just followed.
unfortunate with that.
I followed the settings you laid out, and they're
Yeah,
not
no,
enough,
it's not your
apparently.
fault for that one, Joe. Don't worry.
It's all
Although-
your fault.
Although I think I would have made the checkered flag had I not had a massive moment at the top of the hill on the last lap.
Yeah. If we were all faster, we'd all like cross
That
the
as
line
well.
at the same time. Yeah.
And not Joe stealing rotary tires.
Yeah.
Oh
Confirmed.
dear.
That.
It's like X-Maddy G wanting options and they gave him primes. Anyway, James, you'll be glad to know, fifth place is still 15 points. That's actually half the points for a race win here, so half a
you know
win
what?
today.
You know what? I will take that.
Fantastic stuff. Well, guys, thanks to all of you for showing up today. Again, relatively small grid size. Hopefully that will continue to increase as the season goes on. Thanks to everyone for tuning in here on Nukeshot Media, even though it says just 2 viewers, one of them being me. Final thoughts from everyone?
Sign up for next week's race, you peasants.
There we go.
I don't like the Honda.
And everyone bet on Joe. And that's my reason.
Yeah, that's a
Bet on
guaranteed
me,
win.
unless the Race Asylum guys are here.
It's not great odds, but
Or if you want a really safe bet on me having a crash and coming in last.
You could bet on if he gets laps if you're really feeling mean.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is.
I
that
said
is
if you're
sad.
feeling mean.
unfortunately Joe is.
Okay, well, it's going to be Suzuka next time out, and on the weather forecast, there's going to be a little bit of rain
There is
in
some
the
rain.
air.
The British summer arrives in Japan.
Like Zofio says, simply lovely. No, lovely stuff. Sorry.
I forget if that's one of my catchphrases.
My bet is always gonna have a 360.
That would be me.
But
I'm
will it be a
pulling it
no
now.
scope?
The no scope into turn 1.
Get some hit marker sound effects ready.
Yeah, get the soundboard prepped.
Alright, guys, thanks all very much. Thanks again also to our 2 sponsors for today, Baltic Sea Competition. Thanks again, Felix. We hope to see you out next time for Suzuka. Thanks for sponsoring the race. That
They could only afford to
Operating our
sponsor it, but they couldn't run the car. Had to make a
dear.
choice.
And also, of course, to the Endurance Racing Federation, a link to their Discord channel is in the description.
Also didn't show up.
I know. I also do commentary over there, so be sure to check that out
Okay,
as
you showed
well.
up.
Thanks, Joe.
Anytime.
Do you mind? I'm trying
this
to
is
do an
getting
outro
worse.
here. Oh dear. Thanks everyone once again for tuning in. We hope to see you in Japan in 1 week's time. From all of us here on Nuke Shop Media, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.